And I'm back right here in a place to be. It's your girl, Vanika B, right here in a place to be. And I'm so glad that you're here with me now, right here on Free to Be Me TV. Now that we got the intro out of the way, how y'all doing? How y'all feeling? How y'all living? So now look, I've realized that we have been lied to. Now, when I say we, I mean women of a certain hue, women of a certain culture, women have been lied to. Now, I'm speaking to specifically black women because I am a black woman, as you can see. So, you know, don't get butthurt. This is a conversation about us, for us, by us. Okay, fubu. Anyways, women, we have been lied to. We have been tricked and bamboozled. Shout outs to Malcolm X. Okay. And the reason why I say this is because there have been so many lies that we've been taught around beauty and the beauty standard and what's acceptable and what's beautiful and what's okay, to move forward, to be out in the world, to be accepted. Now, I was having this conversation with some young women on a different live earlier today on TikTok. The question prompt was, what are things that you have been lied to about growing up that affected your health, your mental health, and your self-esteem, and or your self-esteem, right? Because a lot of times as black women, we're taught a variety of things, and we'll get into that later. But we're taught a variety of things about how we look, about how we sound, about how all these different things, and it plagues us later on in life, right? And we end up settling for people who aren't, we end up settling for people who we really could do better than that person or whatever the case may be. However, we end up settling for people, we end up settling for circumstances, we end up settling for these mediocre things going on. Hello. Hi, how you doing, Larry? Thank you so much for being in the room. We end up settling for, and thank you for liking the live. I appreciate it. Because we are not taught properly about who we are and how we are, like how beautiful we are, how smart we are, how we're not reinforced. The good things about us aren't reinforced enough for us to develop that high self-esteem so that our standards are high enough so that we're not ending up in these terrible situations. Okay? So the question that I asked on my TikTok was, what is something that you were lied to about growing up that affects your self-esteem? Anybody in the comments can answer, but I'm going to say for me, and I know other black women as well, hair was a big thing. We were lied about what was acceptable when it comes to our hair. What was acceptable when it comes to, oh, your hair has to be done. Your hair can't be, kinky, curly, the way it just grows out of your head and just neat. It has to be done. And when I say done, I mean heavily manipulation styles. I'm talking about somebody is doing something to your hair, whether they're braiding it, whether they're putting tracks in it, whether they're perming it. All these different things that they're going to do to make your hair acceptable for you to walk outside the door. No other genre of woman, when I say genre, I mean race. No other race of woman has to deal with these things. Nobody else. Everybody else can just shake their hair and go. Wash it, shake their hair and go. If they want to add curls, they can add curls. If they want to brush it, they can brush it. But really, they don't have to deal with sit in a chair for 8 hours at a time, or flat ironing their hair, or hot combing their hair. Things like that is things that we were like taught very early on what was acceptable for us as women, right? And so, as black women. And so that's something that affected a lot of women's self-esteem about how they view themselves when they don't have their hair done. Hi, Bomba. I'm speaking about the topic. The question and topic that we're talking about today is, what are some lies that you were told growing up? Specifically, this is for my black women, but black, anybody can join in this conversation, honestly, but this is specifically a question that I curated for black women. What are some lies that you were told growing up that affected your self-esteem and how you viewed yourself? So, going back to one thing that I know for a lot of black women, hair was a big thing. Your hair has to be done. That's a huge lie. You could literally walk outside with your afro out. You could get locks. You could wear your hair any type of way. But that's a lie that a lot of us acquiesce to, and we all, like, a lot of people will believe in. They'll believe, like, okay, well, my hair has to be a certain way for it to be presentable. And if it's not, then my hair isn't done, then it's not professional. It's not presentable. It's not okay. This can affect your self-esteem, because this is telling you subconsciously as a black woman that my natural appearance isn't good enough. This can affect how you see yourself long term. So, thank you for your comments. I'm not necessarily aiming to free anyone. I do appreciate that. However, I don't feel like you can really free people who don't want to be free. I do feel like if I'm opening the conversation for people to bring awareness to a certain topic, and it's not just due to hair. It's not just about hair. It's more like we're talking about what are some lies that you believed growing up that affected your self-esteem. That's the question. So one big thing for, I know as black women, hair is huge. Hair having to be done. That's huge, right? Second thing that I have had to deal with being a black woman, and because I'm a curvier black woman, is modesty politics. And people always trying to police what I'm wearing, or telling me to put some clothes on. So, mind you, I grew up in a very strict Christian household. I wasn't allowed to wear like a lot of provocative stuff. I didn't even own any provocative clothing. I had very modest clothing, right? However, because of how curvy I am, even as a child, it will always be, go upstairs and put some clothes on. Even if I have on like a t-shirt and some shorts. Things like this, kind of, it's body shaming a child before the child even really gets an understanding of what they look like, can affect their self-esteem. So that's something else that I know that I've dealt with, and I know other black women have dealt with as well. Go put some clothes on. Go, and that's not necessarily a lie. That's just more of a, what do you call it? A behavior. Is someone constantly telling you to go put some clothes on, go do the, like you monitoring. I remember one time I was sitting at the pool and I was with my mother and my aunt, like my play aunt. And we were all sitting there and I'm just chilling, hanging out with them. And they were asking me, oh, I didn't know I could add a question box. Oh, that's cool. They were asking me, okay, I'll do that later. Oh damn, it disappeared. I said I'll do that later. That shit disappeared. Okay, anyways, they were asking me, well, would you ever wear this? And would you ever, like, they were pointing out other people who had on like boy shorts and two pieces and this and that. And they were like, would you ever wear this? And would you ever wear that? And I couldn't have been no more than like maybe 15 years old. I don't even think I was in my teens. I think I was probably like 12, 13 years old. And I just felt this intense amount of judgment. I'll never forget this. I felt this, and I'm not crying or anything. I'm just wiping my eyes. I felt this intense amount of judgment when it came to what I answered, and I had to have the right answer. That's what it felt like. It felt like I couldn't say, oh yeah, that's cute, I will wear that, if it was just a cute shorts and top and whatever. It was like, you have to be covered up. Because of how you're shaped, you need to be covered up. And that was what they pushed on me. It was like, it was a method of protection in a way, but they never really instilled in me at the same time, you're beautiful, you look this way, this is why I'm telling you you should cover up. This is why I'm telling you you should do this. It was never like that. It was just like, you need to put some clothes on. It was like my responsibility to make sure I was fully covered all the time, because there were men around and I didn't want to tempt the men. Not even really understanding, as a young girl, you really don't understand all of that. Like, what? You're not really putting all those pieces together. So that's the second thing that I know for me personally has been like, that has been body shaming someone about how curvy they are. And for some women, it could have been the opposite way. It could have been like, okay, they're not being body shamed for being so curvy, but they're being body shamed for not having enough curves or not having enough butt, especially in the Black community. That's a big thing. So you ain't got no butt. It's like, oh, you ain't even popping. You ain't even got no booty. You a flat, you a pancake back there, whatever. Right? So that's another thing that could easily lower your self-esteem as a young girl. So we went over hair, we went over body type. Now let's go over complexion. Now again, this is mostly for Black women, okay? If you are a brown skin woman like myself, if you're brown skin or dark skin or darker side of the spectrum of complexion, 9 times out of 10, you were probably teased for being dark skinned. You were probably called everything but a child of God under the guise of being dark skinned, because of racism and colorism and all the things. And that leaked into our community of how people will treat you, right? I'm doing fine. Hello. And so not believing that your skin tone or your skin is beautiful or it is a benefit or it's not as desirable. Oh my God, you're all the way in Turkey? What's up? That's so cool. Not believing that your skin tone is beautiful or desirable. All of these things can play a part as to why, as Black women, your life is the way it is now. Not only your life is the way it is now, but why it ended up the way it did. And it's not too late to change your life at any time. If you still got air in your lungs, if you're still breathing, if you can still hear the sound of my voice, it is never too late to change the way you view yourself, to change the way you love on yourself, to change how you show up in the world. However, it's good to know what are some of the things that stop you, that some of the things that contributed to you having a lower quality of life. Self-esteem and self-concept, huge. Your self-esteem and your self-concept. Your self-concept is the way you view yourself. Right? So the way you identify yourself, the way you view yourself, the way you look at yourself. Well, I'm from DC. I'm a DMV diamond. Okay, let me not put on no gang signs. I don't even belong to no gang. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, thank you. Oh my God. See, now you're being weird. Now you're being the freaks come out. The freaks come out. The freaks come out at night. Okay, it's nighttime over here. I don't know if it's nighttime in Turkey. It's nighttime over here, honey. Anyway, I'm trying to have a real conversation with my actual audience that actually needs to hear this. So I'm not going to let anybody distract me anymore. I'm just going to keep it pushing. Okay? Okay. So like I was saying, this is just 3 different things. So hair, okay, Black women, hair. Body type, whether you're very curvy or not curvy, straight up and down, whatever. Then also complexion. This is also something that can attribute to complexion and how people will tease you about your complexion. Now we're just then stepping off of complexion and, being treated poorly because you're a certain complexion or whatever the case is. Then we're going to, oh, okay. Then we're going to move on to like your superpowers. Okay, at first I was going to go to something very superficial and like your class and how well you dressed and but that really just has to do with like school, right? That really just has to do with school and how you're treated in school. And you're in school for a long period of time, so it does count, right? Because you're in school for most of the day, it does count. However, your superpowers also have something to do with I'm not going to let you distract me. Your superpowers also have something to do with how you are perceived. Now, when I say my superpowers or your superpowers, what do I mean? Now, those people are like, well, I'm not a superhero. What you mean, my superpowers? I mean your innate gifts that God has given you. God, the universe, the source, whatever words you want to use, okay? Don't get caught up in semantics, excuse me. Thank you for subscribing. I appreciate that. So, God has given you a talent, something that is innate to you. And you think because you've been doing this since you was a kid that it's normal. You think that because you've been doing this thing since you were a child, that it's normal. And you're like, oh yeah, like for black women in particular. Oh, I've been singing since I was a little girl in church. And it's like, oh yeah, I always sing. Everybody in my family can sing. Like, it's nothing. To you, it's nothing, but that is a gift that God has given you, right? Then you have, or for instance, you have some women who are naturally talkative, like myself. I have some women that are naturally talkative, that can sing, some women that can dance, some women that are very intellectual, very smart. You have some, like, so everybody has something that they're been given, right? Some women that could just throw down in the kitchen. There's always something. So if you're a woman who has been attacked from all these, I'm mentioning this for a reason. I'm bringing it home, okay? Because I don't have so much more time to be on here, and I want to get this point out. And I'm going to do another one of these videos. It's going to be more concise, and I don't think I'm going to go live because it kind of distracted me. But I'm saying this for you to understand how many different angles as a black woman you have been on attack. And I know some women are like, duh, girl, we've been under attack. Like, oh, you ain't teaching me nothing new with that. But I want you to see how and the different levels of attack that you've been under since inception, since you got here. So we got hair, we got body type, we got complexion. We have, now we have your gifts. Now, this is an intangible thing. All those other things are what you look like. This fourth thing is the intangible. This is something we can't touch. But because they've already been attacking you on this level of, oh, my skin, my face, my hair, my body type, people have been telling me to cover up since I was a child, all of this stuff, you're already insecure. So now when it comes for the time for you to express your gifts, to share your gifts with the world, what do? You don't feel confident enough to share your gifts with the world. You don't feel like you can jump out there and just do anything and be and say and be who you're supposed to be, because you're so insecure about what you look like. You're so insecure about what you're giving off, your energy, or how you talk. Some of us women, especially black women, we're loud, meant to be public speakers. Never cultivated our message. We talk often, meant to have our own podcast. Meant to be public speakers, have our own podcast, have our own talk shows. We're not cultivating the gift because someone kept telling us, you talk too much. We have been lied to about who we are, about how beautiful we are, not just so that we don't share our gifts, not just so that we don't show up and show out, but also so that low, bottom feeder people can have access to us, and we will give it to them because we're so low within ourselves. This is extremely dangerous. It's been going on for years. Some of us, it's already too late for y'all because y'all don't want to change. A lot of people don't want to change. Some of us are actually going to hear what I'm saying and understand that there's something that can be done. Are going to aim at to make it better for the next generation. And so this is my attempt making it better for the next generation. This is really for younger women. It's really for younger women, younger black women who are being lied to about who they are. You are beautiful, okay? The thing that people are teasing you about, the thing that people are going in on you about, is a thing that's just the most magnetic thing about you. The thing that people are talking shit to you about or trying to discourage you from using, that is probably your gift. Do not let them deter you. Double down. If they say you talk too much, talk some more. Start writing up your talking points. Start writing them up, and then figure out how you can create a podcast. Start making your talking public. Start volunteering to talk publicly. If they say you too loud, find somewhere where you can project your voice, and it's not a problem. It's commanded that you project your voice. You got to start looking at things differently, because nobody is going to give you that leg up. Not out here in the world. Nobody's going to make space for you and your gift until you make space for your gift. Until you decide, like, this is my gift, I'm going to run with what I got. Until you decide that you're going to do that, nobody else is going to make space for you. But when you stand up and raise your hand and say, yeah, I'm claiming my spot, your gift is going to start making way for you. It's going to start opening doors for you. So I'm saying all of this to say is that you've been lied to about who you truly are. You've been lied to about what gifts you truly have, how powerful you really are. And it's only so that you can remain controlled. If you were to accept you at your rawest, most potent potential, at your rawest form, and you was just to accept and love you for all who you are, and just said fuck what the world talking about, I'm just gonna do me, and I'm just gonna be authentic and who I am, you have no, like, your life would change. You have no clue how magnetic you would be for the opportunities that you would just be so elated with. Because you decided to claim your spot, because you decided to be authentically who you truly are. For years, I let people trick me out of my spot. I let people trick me out of my spot of thinking that I couldn't do this and I couldn't do that, and I was too this and I was too that, or I wasn't enough of this, because, just having low self-esteem. For years, I let people who shouldn't have been in my proximity have full access to me because of low self-esteem. This is not by accident. All of this shit is on purpose. This is spiritual warfare at its finest. If you allow people, if there's this quote, right? And I'm trying to remember the exact quote of how they said it, but it was, if you teach, it was supposed to be about like racism, but it correlates to this. So I'm going to try to remember how they said it. But if you teach a man that he has to go through the back door, that he is lowly enough to go through the back door, he will find the back door. Even if you won't even have to tell him. And this was back in those Jim Crow days when it was like they wanted the black people to enter in through the back door. They wanted, the black man to, so they would create a setting and create a narrative to make the black woman and the black man feel like you're not good enough to walk through our doors through the front, even though you got to pay your money and all of that. You're not good enough to sit in the front. You got to sit in the back. You got to go through the back. And people will Okay, you're in Iran. What's up? Everybody from the other side of the world. That's what's up. I don't know if you all can relate to these messages or not, but if you can, put a thumbs up in the chat. I appreciate you being here. But people will. So going back to our original conversation, that correlates because of the simple fact that if people have been convincing you all your life that your hair isn't good enough, your complexion isn't good enough, your body type is shameful, and you're too loud, and you're too this, and you're too whatever that they've been saying about you towards you your whole life, and they've been degrading you and degrading you and degrading you and chipping away at your self-esteem before you even got a chance to cultivate it. If this has been happening to you, then in life, you're always going to be looking for the back door. In life, you're always going to be accepting the less. Because in your mind, your self-esteem is already low. In your mind, you're not even good enough to go through the front door. In your mind, you have to go through the back door. Because you've already been conditioned to think you're less. And I'm just here to tell the young girlies that can actually hear me. Stop that shit. Don't let them people trick you out your spot. Don't let them trick you out your motherfucking spot. These people wish they could be you. These people wish they had your gifts. These people wish they could show up and show out, and they could just wow the crowd like you do. And they can't, and that's the reason why they bully you. That's the reason why they go in on you. That's the reason why they've been making fun of you since you was a little kid. Go through the front door. Be in the front seat. Drive in your life. Don't be the passenger. You've been lied to. Them people talking all that stuff about you, whoever's saying what about you, I promise you, it's not true. I don't know you, but baby, I love you. And I hope that you heard this message. And I hope that even though it was a little chopped and screwed, that you caught on to what I was saying. Okay? Don't let these people fool you, trick you out of your spot. If you heard this message today, it was for a reason. Drop something in the comments if this resonated with you. If you understood what I'm saying, even though, through the reading of the comments and this and that, if you understand what I'm saying and you feel what I'm saying, you resonate with anything that I did say, drop something in the comments for me and let me know that you heard me, even if it's just one person. If it's just one person, I know I did my job right. And I'm going to come back and I'll talk to y'all later again. Peace.